Good afternoon to everyone. Before we start with today's lecture, which is based on your chapter optimization, I would like to revise some topic which we have already done in linear regression. As we know in linear regression, we are able to find out y value based on x value. A set of x and y values are given to you, and based on that, with the help of supervised learning technique, you are able to predict a y value for given x. So this is done through calculation of beta 0 and beta 1 as slope and intercept. Using the best value of beta 0 and beta 1, you get something which is called as a line. That line is linear in nature and it is called as best fit line. Why? Because it will give you the minimum error with the difference between actual and the predicted value. I'll just show it here. So if this is what we have got for linear regression as our best fit line for the given points somewhere here. So we say that this difference between the actual point and the point which is predicted through a line is called, these are called as residuals. Okay, and the difference between these are called as errors. Now with the best fit line we say that sum of all the errors and square of them will be minimum, which we call it as SSE, will be minimum, sum of the square of errors. Okay, we have already discussed why do we take sum and why do we take square of errors. Okay, so it is said to be that best fit line will have SSE as minimum. This we get when we keep on trying different values of beta 0 and beta 1 for various different lines which will pass through these points. This line can be this way, it can be this way, or anyhow. So all the lines will have particular SSE values. SSE1, SSE2, and say this is SSE3. If I want to plot this SSE, I will say, suppose I get for a line SSE over here, for another line somewhere over here, for next line it is here. Okay, so we will say that these are the SSE points of particular lines to try to find out the best fit line, and out of which this has a minimum value and this SSE will give us a best fit line properties. So what we are going to do is, what we do to find out best fit line is, we start with some random value of beta 0, beta 1, and we find out that this is the first SSE that we have got. With this SSE, we still understand through a graph that it is not the minimum value, there can be some other value. So we find out another SSE for the next line, and we keep on doing this till we get optimal solution as a minimum SSE. This minimum SSE value is called as optimal solution for best fit line. There is a possibility in this concept, if you see, that from this point, if I jump, I don't know where I have to go next, what are the values that I should take to get the best fit line. I may take some other value and move to this point. And from here, I keep on, then I understand that this is also the maximum value as compared to the point over here. So I decrease the value so as to get minimum SSE point. Now there is a possibility that we can get a oscillations over here which will take lot and lot of time to find out the optimal solution. Okay, so these are few of the concept of finding out the optimal solution for particular problem. This is for linear regression problem. Similarly, and it is, since linear in nature, it is called as linear programming problem. This is called as optimization. Okay, once you have understood this concept, we are ready to move towards optimization techniques. So let us start with optimization. As we have discussed, it says it is the act of obtaining best result under given circumstances. Ultimate goal is to either get minimize the effort required. Effort is nothing but the cost function or error function. To minimize the error function or to maximize the desired output. Effort required or benefit desired can be expressed as a function of particular variables. These variables will decide the minimum value. That is why it is called as decision variables. Optimization can be defined as a process of finding out the conditions that give maximum or the minimum value of these functions. So if we point it as x star, which corresponds to the minimum value of function of fx, the same point also corresponds to the maximum value of minus f of x. We'll see how it looks. If so, this is a graph for function f of x. Here we find out the minimum. For any function where we want to find out the maximum, we take reverse of fx, that is minus of fx. Optimization can be taken as minimization problem, or since maximum of the function can be found by seeking minimum of negative of this function. There is no single method available for solving this optimization problem. Hence, number of methods have been developed. Operation research is one branch of mathematics where optimization is used to get a decision making problem and get a optimal solution. Elements which are required in optimizations are variable, that is our x value, constraints. Based on some kind of conditions, your variable functions will change, and objective function. Objective function are the function or the operation that is performed on the variable for particular constraint. There are different types of optimization. They are called as constrained and unconstrained. It is clear that constrained optimization problem will have some kind of constraints to be satisfied before following the or moving towards the next point. And unconstrained will be directly working on the objective function. For constraint, the optimization problem will look like this. Find optimized x for the given x values x1 to xn, which minimizes the value of function of fx for constraint conditions as gj of x should be less than equal to 0, lj of x should be equal to 0. Here x is an n-dimensional vector. It is called as design vector. Fx is objective function. Gj of x and Lj of x are inequality and equality constraints. The number of variables of n, m or p are not related in any ways. This problem, since it is based on some constraint, it is called as constrained optimization problem. For functions like x, find x for given x, which minimizes f of x without any constraint, are called as unconstrained optimization problems. There are various types of optimization problem. Linear, which we already saw for linear regression, non-linear, geometric, and quadratic programming. For linear, it will be linear in nature, whether positive or negative. it will be with respect to the input x, the function will accordingly change. Nonlinear will not depend on whether x is increasing or decreasing, that is nonlinear. There are several methods available for solving unconstrained minimization problem. Two broad categories are direct search method and descent methods. In direct search methods, it requires only objective function. There are no partial derivatives taken, and that is why it is called as non-gradient method. So it is clear, if we take derivative in any of the function, objective function, it is gradient method, and when we don't take any derivative, it is called as non-gradient method. They are more suitable for simple problems and small number of variables, but they are less efficient than the descent methods. In descent method, we take first order or second order derivative of objective function. Since derivative information is used, descent methods are more efficient than direct search methods, and they are called as gradient methods. All the unconstrained minimization methods are iterative in nature, and they start from initial position, then they proceed towards the minimum point in a sequential manner. This minimum point is called as optimal point. So this is a general flow chart of this is a general flow chart of how optimization takes place. First, we start with the trial point x1. We set the iteration to 1. We get function of this input xi. Then we generate a next xi plus 1 point. We take function of that point. We see whether it is reached to a minimum point. If it converges, then we take that as an optimal point. If it doesn't converge, we increase the iteration and repeat this procedure of increasing the next value and taking function of that. So general iterative process equation is, you find out xi plus 1, that is your next point. Your next point will depend on your current point xi, and it will depend on the direction in which you want to move, and also it will depend on how much do you want to move, that is a step length. So xi is starting point, xi plus 1 is final point in the iteration I, and si is the search direction, whether you want to move positive or whether you want to move negative. And lambda I is the optimal step length, in which how much do you want to move. For optimization, we have two basic types. One is derivative based, other one is derivative free. In derivative based, we take derivatives. There are two subtypes, steepest descent method and Newton method. In derivative free, we have random search and downhill simplex. To understand steepest descent method or descent method, we need to understand what is gradient. The gradient of a function is an n component vector given by this. So gradient f will be derivative of each of the inputs given here. So we can find out gradient by taking the derivative. If we move along the gradient direction from any point in n dimensional space, the function value increases at the fastest rate. Hence, the gradient direction is called direction of steepest ascent. So if we want to move from a particular point to its maximum point, this step length will be decided by the gradient, that is the derivative. If you remember, in computer graphics, you have studied the digital differential analyzer and Bresson-Arms algorithm, wherein you used to take derivative, means the difference between the 2 points to reach to particular point, right? So when you take derivative, you move from that point to other point or jump with the you take a long jump, and which will reduce the response time. Okay, so it is the fastest method to increase the function value, and that's why, and since it is in ascending order, it gives you the steep slope, that's why it is called as steepest ascent method. Okay, now this is when we steepest ascent is related to f of x. When we take the direction in the negative, it will be called as steepest descent method, wherein we use again gradient. That means we take derivative of function input x. The negative of the gradient vector denotes the direction of steepest descent. Making use of the gradient vector gives minimum point faster. All descent methods makes use of gradient vector either directly or indirectly in finding the search direction. Steepest descent method is also called as Cauchy method because it was developed by Cauchy in 1847. In this, again what we do is we start with the initial trial point x1 and iteratively move along the steepest descent direction until we reach to the optimal point. This is a general steepest descent algorithm. You take initial point xi, you set the iteration to 1. You find the search direction. If it is descent, it means we are taking negative of the gradient. So it is negative of gradient of f of xi. Okay. Then we determine the step length. Step length is lambda I star. We put this in an equation to find out the next point. That is xi plus 1 is equal to xi plus lambda I star si. Since we are using descent method, we will replace this by minus lambda I star gradient of fi. We test the next point xi plus 1 for optimality, whether it is optimal or minimum value or not. If xi is optimum, we stop the process. Otherwise, we go to the step 5 and set the new iteration I equal to 1 and go this and perform the step 2 again. Okay, so this is how steepest descent method works. Now, owing to the fact that the steepest descent direction is a local property, the method is not really effective in most problems. Local property means if suppose you have one graph with many many deeps, you will try to find out a deep and you stop the procedure stops over there algorithm. So, and the one which is really deeper than the other value local minima, it will be declared as local minima, which is not true. So to avoid such kind, there are other methods which can be used. But steepest descent works with a local property. Here, more the learning rate, the trajectory becomes oscillatory. As I told you before, that if your learning rate or learning rate is nothing but the jump that you give to go to next point. If your learning rate is more, it will keep on, if even if you reduce, it will keep on oscillating near the optimal solution. This will make the algorithm unstable. This is some kind of problems which are asked for solving using steepest descent method. Here your objective function is given f of x1 and x2, okay, and your initial point is given 0 0. Let's see how to solve this. Apply steepest descent method to minimize the function fx x1 square plus x2 square plus 2x2 plus 4 with a starting point x0 as 2 1. Okay, this is the general form. In the previous example you have some other value, here it is other value. It is a general form. We'll see how to solve. So first step in the algorithm is to find the gradient of a function fx. And how do we do that? We find out the derivative of fx. Since we have two values, we will find out with respect to d by dx1, d by dx2. Finding out the gradient, we got 2x1, 2x2 plus 2. Based on this gradient value, we put the values of given x0, that is 2 and 1. So this is the gradient at point x0, 4, 4. Now we need to calculate the step length for quadratic function. And it is given by, here the lambda is mentioned as alpha 0, which is gradient at 0 transpose into gradient at 0 by gradient at 0 transpose into q into gradient 0. This Q is a Bayesian matrix that is used for partial derivative in steepest descent. Okay, Bayesian matrix will depend on the function that we have, gradient function. So here we have the gradient function as 2x1 and 2x2 plus 2. From this we will derive our Bayesian matrix as, in the first row we have no x2 value but x1 coefficient is 2. So it is mentioned 2 0. In the second row you have coefficient for x2 as 2 but there is no coefficient for x1, so it is 0 2. This is your Bayesian matrix. This, after deriving the Bayesian matrix, you put the value in the equation to find out the step length. So you have transpose of gradient, that is this 4 4, general gradient 4 4, transpose of gradient, Bayesian matrix and general gradient at 0, at x equal to 0. When you solve this, you are getting plus half. Now we need to calculate the next point. Next step is to calculate the next point. First we found out the gradient, then we found out the step length. Now we find out the next point. The formula for next point is initial point minus step length into gradient. So initial point is 2 1. Why minus? Because we are taking steepest descent method, so it is in negative direction. So we replace this gradient f by minus gradient f, so it becomes minus half, that is the step length, into gradient of fx0. You solve and you get next point as 0 comma minus 1. Okay, then we take gradient at x1. So we put the values in this gradient as new values 0 and minus 1. You get 0 0. That means your function at this gradient, or the gradient at this function, are 0 0. Since the gradient of fx at x1 is 0, thus the steepest descent algorithm stops, and the minimum point of, or the optimal point you can say, named as x star, is 0 minus 1. At 0 minus 1, the minimum value of the objective function will be whatever you put in the equation as 0 and minus 1, as x1 and x2. You get fx star as 3. So this is how you solve steepest descent problem using the algorithm. Same way, this is another example which we saw previously. You find out the gradient, you find out the Bayesian from gradient, then you find out gradient at x0, then you find out step length, then you find out next point, then you find out gradient at next point. If you get it 0 0 in the second iteration, that means it's a minimal point. And then you find out the this will be the gradient which you got for the next point that you have got will be your the optimal point, and function for the optimal point, minimum function, will be whatever you put as a new x1 value as 55. We'll see another example. This question has been asked in question paper. Maybe the function is different but the method is same. They have asked to perform for 2 iteration. Okay, and we have to say for the second iteration whether it is optimum solution or not, whether the algorithm stops or not. They have not asked for the final output or the optimal solution at what point. Okay, so we'll just perform 2 iterations. Here gradient is taken, Bayesian matrix derived. In the gradient we put the original value, your initial value, find out the step length, find out the next point, find out the next point gradient. Since you can see your next point gradient is not 0, solution is not optimal, thus the steepest descent algorithm does not stop. We form next iteration, we find out the step length, find out next point x2. Again you see the gradient of that is not, or the next point or the gradient point is not 0 0. Again for the second iteration it is not providing the optimum solution, so we will stop here. The algorithm will not stop. Since it has asked only for 2 iterations, the sum will stop here. And solution is not optimum. Okay, so this is all about steepest descent method. Now, another method in the derivative based operation technique is Newton's method. We consider the quadratic approximation of the function fx. First, let me tell you that disadvantage of steepest descent method is that it creates oscillation at near the optimal point. So to avoid that, we need to try for another optimization problem, that is a solution, that is Newton method. Newton method uses Taylor series expansion, and it uses a matrix which is the matrix of second order derivative of fx. So in steepest descent method, we use first order derivative as Hessian matrix. Here we will use second order derivative of fx as Hessian matrix evaluated at point xi. This is the equation Taylor series expansion for a function of x. It depends on function of fxi plus transpose of gradient of fi x minus xi plus half, and so on. So this is the equation that we use. By setting the partial derivative of above equation equal to 0 for the minimum of fx, we get delta fi plus j, that is a second order derivative Hessian matrix, x minus xi equal to 0. Okay, so we equate for the minimum point whatever the optimal point we will get. For that, if we need to find out the function, it should be equated to 0 and then put the value. We'll see that in sum. If Ji is non-singular, above equation can be solved to obtain an improved approximation for xi plus 1. Okay, xi plus 1 can be calculated based on initial point xi minus inverse of Hessian matrix and gradient multiplied with gradient of input. Here, higher order terms of Taylor series are neglected. Above equation is to be used to iteratively to find out the optimum solution x star for sequence x1 to xi plus 1 till it converges to the actual solution from initial point x1, provided that J1 is non-singular. Since Newton method uses second order derivative of objective function, it is called as second order method. Steepest descent is also called as first order method. First order gradient method, you can say. This can be called as second order gradient method since we take derivative in both the cases. So if suppose difference is asked between steepest descent and Newton method, there are these points that you can mention. These are the problem can be asked with Newton methods. Problem is similar. You get a function, objective function, you get a starting point. Now, let's see this example. Apply Newton's method to minimize the function 8x1 square minus 4x1 into x2 plus 5x2 square for starting point 5, 2. We first find out the gradient dx1, dx2. With this gradient, we get Hessian matrix, right? From Hessian matrix, from the gradient, we put the initial point f5 and 2 and get first gradient as 72 and 0. We know this is the Hessian matrix. We have to take inverse of Hessian matrix to find out the next point, that is xi plus 1, as we have seen in the algorithm. So we find out inverse of fx0. Now you know that if this is the value matrix, inverse of this matrix, if you consider this a b c d, then it is 1 by ad minus 1 by ad minus bc, b into c, 1 by ad minus b into c, and matrix values will be d a b c, inverse of d a b c. Okay, I'll share this from where you get this in the last ppt. A new point is generated, next point. So you put the initial point, you put inverse, you take minus since it is descent method, and gradient of fx0. By putting all the values, you get next value as 0, 0. You put these values in the gradient, the values for the gradient is 0, 0. So your algorithm stops here, and the x star, or the minimum optimal solution, is 0, 0, the last gradient that you have got, or last point that you have got. And the minimum value of function should be equated to 0. When you put the values as 0, 0, you will get f of x star is equal to 0. Okay. So this is how you solve using Newton method with little changes with the Hessian matrix. Rest all, if you see, it is the procedure is same. Here there is an example given for three values x1, x2 and x3. You calculate, you first simplify the equation given here. After that you calculate gradient. From gradient you find out the Hessian matrix. Remember, when there are 3 points, you have to have 3 by 3 Hessian matrix. When we till now we had 2 points, so we made 2 by 2 Hessian matrix. With this 3 by 3 Hessian matrix, we'll find out the gradient. We'll put the gradient values, input values, and find out the gradient at x0. Then we take inverse of Hessian matrix to find out the next value with the gradient multiplied with the gradient minus 1. Initial point, you find out the gradient at x1, it is 0, 0. Thus algorithm stops, and the point at which algorithm stop is 4, 3 minus 5, that is your x star. If you equate the given equation and put these values, you get the value as 0. Similarly, this is another sum. For 2 by 2, you have to derive Hessian matrix 2 by 2. You take derivative of the equation, take Hessian matrix, put the value initial point, calculate the next point using inverse of Hessian. Here you get minus 2 by 3. Take gradient of that, you get 0, 0. Algorithm stops, x star is minus 2 and 3, and the function, if equated and put the values, you get minus 5. Okay, so this is the minimum value of the function for x star. So in Newton method, it will find the minimum in lesser number of steps compared to the original method. It finds the minimum point, whereas the original method may not converge in some case. As I said, it will just oscillate. It usually avoids convergence to saddle point or a maximum. There is a vast theory behind the saddle point. It's based on the horse saddle structure, wherein you move the directions. Will not get into this. You can. This is some other point which you can discover later. Uh, it requires the disadvantage of Newton method again. It requires more memory because it uses n by n matrix for Hessian derivative, second order derivative. It requires more time. So since it requires more number of elements in the matrix, it requires inversion of the matrix. It requires evaluation of quantity at each step. These features make the method impractical for problem involving complicated objective with large number of variables. Till x1, x2, x3, it was possible. If this equation extends to large number of variables, then the equation takes too much time and becomes more complicated. So these are the disadvantages. Each method has its pros and cons. Next is the derivative free optimization. As we know, in derivative ways, we use derivations or a differentiation property. Here in derivative free, there is no differentiation property taken to find out the optimal solution. Characteristics of derivative free are it is derivative free. It does not use derivative function. It only uses objective function. So using objective function, it follows particular search direction, and that following of particular search direction is based on some heuristic guidelines. Some guidelines are followed, like search procedures are usually based on simple intuitive concepts motivated by nature's wisdom. It is slow, since these methods are generally slower than derivative based because it uses small steps to reach to the optimal position. But it is flexible as it does not use derivations. It uses complex objective function without too much extra coding and computation time. It is random because it uses random number generators in determining subsequent search direction. This randomness leads to find a global optimum given enough computation time. So with uh, this we can say that it follows the property of global to find out the global minimum instead of local minimum in less number of computation time, as we don't use derivations here. Analytically, it is difficult due to their randomness and problem specific nature, because it will be difficult to analyze what will be the next search direction, what will be the next step length. It is also iterative in nature and we need certain stopping criteria. Like we have in steepest descent and Newton method, that once it reaches to particular optimal solution, you get these values as 0, 0. Here in derivative free based method, you do not have any stopping criteria. So we need to define that properly. Suppose we have k iteration count and fk as an objective function, then common criteria, stopping criteria for a maximization problem will involve its computation time will increase, number of function evaluations will increase, iteration is reached, optimization goal should be specified, minimal improvement should be specified, minimal relative improvement should be specified. This means that you need to mention the step length, that is difference between the previous and the next point. There are four types of basic derivative free optimization methods called as random search, downhill simplex method, genetic algorithm, and simulated annealing. Out of this, two are there for your syllabus, which we'll see right now: random search method and downhill simplex. Random search method, it is for continuous optimization problem. Function your f is called as fitness function, which needs to be minimized, and x is the candidate solution in search space. The algorithm goes this way: you initialize x with random value, then until the termination criteria is met, it will follow some steps. What are those steps? It will find out the next position y surrounding by the x. Okay, if the function of y is less than function of x, okay, then it will move to the new position, else it will remain to that position and stop the criteria. If it moves to the new position, then that y which we counted will now become your new x, and then you find out the next y, and you keep on doing this till the condition is f of y is less than f of x. Next method is downhill simplex method. It is a multi-dimensional optimization method. It works multi-dimensional means it works with more number of dimensions, where in Newton method we had this disadvantage. So it has been covered by downhill simplex method. It uses geometric relationships to aid in finding function minimums. When you imagine that you have a xy graph, and it is easy to find out between these two dimensions only which will be the minimum. If you imagine you have more than 3 or 4 dimensions, how will you be able to find out the minimum position for 4 values, 4 dimensions? Okay, so this is possible through some kind of compression or some kind of expansion done to get the minimum position. It creates its own pseudo derivative by evaluating enough points to define derivative for each independent variable of the function. Method revolves around a simplex. A geometric object is created with respect to whatever function we have based on the number of variables that we have. Right now in Newton method or steepest descent method, we work till x1, x2, x3. Okay, suppose this number of variables increases, so in based on these variables object is created. Can you imagine n dimension or 4 dimension or 5 dimension? Okay, an object is created This object will be created based on number of points or the variables we have in objective function. Okay. Suppose, and the criteria is we have n plus 1 vertex. Suppose we have n number of independent variable, then there will be n plus n vertex, and based on this vertex object will be created. So suppose you have n equal to 1, the simplex would contain 2 points. If we join these 2 points, you get a line. If suppose n is 2, then you have 3 points. If we join these 3 points, you get a triangle. So this is how object will be created based on the variables present in the functions f of x. Here it is showing examples of low order simplexes. This is 1D. You have 1 point, added to it 1 n plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1. This optimization algorithm requires only function evaluation. In the n-dimensional space, a simplex is polyhedron with n plus 1 vertex. We choose n plus 1 point and define an initial simplex. So whatever n plus 1 point we have, that will be your initial point of simplex. The method iteratively updates the worst point by 4 operations. Out of that, it will find out the worst point and work on that worst point. That worst point operations will be either you perform reflection on that, expansion of that point, one dimensional contraction of that point, or multiple contractions from all directions. So this is examples of if this is your initial simplex, if you want to contract this highest point, it will be in this direction. This is how it will become to get the optimal object. If you want to perform reflection, then this is the centroid of all the point. From this point, reflection of these 2 points are taken to the highest point. If you need to expand, then it is done through this value. If you need to do multiple contraction, then it is done through all the points, all dimensions. Okay. So if you want to perform reflection, if you see that this is purple color is a real object, a simplex, okay, 3D simplex, you want to perform reflection of this so that it becomes equal in nature. What you will do is you will take centroid of that and you keep on increasing the point such that you find out that till this point it will be less than the centroid. After this point it will be increased. So there are some algorithms that need to be followed to satisfy these kind of operations. In downhill simplex method, reflection involves moving the worst point of the simplex to point reflected through the remaining endpoints. If this point is better than the best point, then the method attempts to expand simplex along its line, and this is called as expansion. If the new point is not much better than the previous point, then it is contracted, and this is called as contraction. If a new point is worse than the previous point, simplex is contracted all dimensions, that is called as multiple contraction. By repeating these series of operation, the method finds the optimal solution. This is a general algorithm. If you go through, you can see that for reflection, this is the condition. This is the centroid point, centroid minus the maximum point multiplied with a factor A, you get a reflection. If reflection is less than the maximum point and the initial point or between them, then it is replaced by the next point, and again next point is calculated for reflection. Once the reflection is less than the initial point, it generates a new point by doing expansion. For expansion, you follow this condition. Again, you check if expansion is less than the reflection, you replace it by xn plus 1 by xc and find out the next point. If reflection is greater than fxn, then you generate a new point by contraction. For that, you follow this formula. If contraction is less than the next point, you replace next point by xs. If it becomes greater than next point, then along all contraction is done all in all the directions or dimensions towards x1. This evaluates the objective function values at the n new vertices, which is calculated with this formula. So this is a general methods of optimization. Four methods we have seen: derivative based two methods, Steepest descent and Newton method; derivative free two methods, those are downhill simplex and random search. Basic difference between derivative based and derivative free optimization. First point will be, obviously it uses derivative information. This uses only objective function. Here it uses derivative with objective function. Your extra information is required to find optimal solution. Here no information is given. Here it converges faster, this one is slower. Here the search direction is given by derivative. Here it is given by some heuristic guidelines. Mathematical methodologies are followed here. They use bio-inspired. Functions differentiable can only be considered here. Here allows only objective function. Here it derivative based converge to a local optimum. Here it gives an scope to converge to global optimum. Generic methodology is used. Here methodology is used in dependent on problem domain. Convergence here depends on the derivative equal to zero condition. Here we need to give a stopping criteria when to terminate the optimization process. Derivative based is a heuristic search of solution, and derivative free it is random search of solution. With this, we complete this chapter of optimization. Hope you have understood.